Hi, I'm Matthew Steckling. Welcome back to CPSB-TV. Today, I'm here with head Sulphur football coach Coach Towery. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me again today.
Well, last week we played Lafayette. How'd that game go for us?
Well, you know, early on we had some opportunities to make some plays, and we didn't on offense. I thought our defense played well early on. We played a couple of really good skill position kids on their offense. They had a really good quarterback that ran around and made plays, pretty good running back. They were pretty big up front, and pretty athletic. So thought we did a good job early defensively. We missed some opportunities offensively. We got down in the red zone a couple of times and didn't capitalize with touchdowns. We got field goals instead. We need to be scoring touchdowns there, not field goals. As the game wore on, we started throwing and catching a little bit better, and we ended up, moving the ball really well, scoring several touchdowns. Had a big night in the passing game, almost 300 yards passing. But we need to do that for 4 quarters. We need to play together as 4 quarters. We need to make sure that we're competing for 4 quarters, and when we do those kind of things, we'll have a chance to win.
Who were some players who had a star performance against Lafayette?
Well, last week on the defensive side of the ball, we had several guys that did some really good things. Corey Hyatt, Tyler Massey, who's one of our better safeties. Tyler is a heck of a football player. He's not afraid to come downhill and make tackles. I thought Tyler played well. Carson Coben played well on defense. Bladen Laidlaw played well on the D-line. Peyton Lemaire. We've got a good group of guys over there. They're really solid. They play tough. They play hard. And all of those guys had a really good night. So, that group as a whole played well, especially those guys I just mentioned. Kind of ran out of gas at times. Like I said, they had some really good athletes over there and some guys that are hard to tackle in space. And so, offensively, we've got to play better sooner. We ended up playing pretty well. We've got to play better sooner to be able to make some plays to keep our defense off the field as much. Offensively, Jonathan Hopkins had a big night, had 196 yards receiving, 11 catches in the game, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's a tremendous night for a high school wide receiver in one game. Gage Trahan obviously had a good night throwing to him, threw the ball, really well, threw for 295 yards or something like that. 2 touchdowns, also had a running touchdown. And then Garrison Burgess at running back had some nice runs when we could consistently block up front. He had a couple of really good runs, especially a 25-yarder down the sideline that I thought was a good run. He's starting to get more comfortable in what he's doing, and I think it's starting to show on the field. Up front, we had a couple of guys that played well. Dawson LeBrun played well. Brody the Priest had to start for us last week, sophomore wide receiver, and he did some really good things in the passing game. So those are just some guys that had really big nights. I thought John really stepped it up, played tough. His legs were tired after the game, and he made a lot of big catches and tried to give us a chance to stay in the game.
From that loss, how do we plan on tackling that game against Carencro this Friday?
Well, Carencro presents another situation with very good athletes. We kind of got front-loaded on our district schedule between Acadiana, Lafayette High, and Carencro, probably 3 of the more athletic teams in our district. So we have to go out and we have to play for 4 quarters. We have to play competitively. We have to play hard. We have to execute for 4 quarters to have an opportunity to beat these guys. They are beatable. Southside went out there last week and beat them pretty good. And so we can compete with these guys, but we have to play for 4 quarters. We can't go out there on the field with a letdown at any point. It's got to be maximum effort for 4 quarters. They've got athletes in a lot of places. We have to keep their athletes at bay. We have to be able to handle them up front on the offensive line and block better in the run game than we did last week. If we can do those things, get a little consistent with that, I think we'll have a chance tomorrow night.
Welcome back to our new segment, Play of the Week. Coach, can you break down this play for us?
Well, I've got a few different things we're going to go over here. We're going to talk about some of our drop-back passing game and screen stuff this week. So one of the things we do at Sulphur High is we family our routes in our drop-back passing game. So this is what we call a levels concept. The name of the concept is Bronco. All right, and this is in our levels family. And so basically what we have is we have a 3-level concept going on over here to the field, to the trip side right here. This is from 2020. That's Jacob Clark at quarterback right there. This was a good shot of this. And what he's looking at is basically right here, he has what we call a hash read or a burst dig. This guy's running a little option route or what we call a dodge route at 5. And then outside, we've got a 7-step speed post over the top. Quarterback comes up to the line of scrimmage. He sees the middle of the field safety right there. That's what we call middle of the field coverage, single safety in the middle of the field. He knows right now if the second safety stays low, he's going to have a shot at throwing that post route pre-snap. If not, he's going to work the levels combination off of these 2 guys right here off the wall defender. The pre-snap tells him what he's got going on. He drops, does a really good job of climbing in the pocket. Safety's down. Big ball over the top for the post route to the outside receiver. And so that's a version of levels. Really good concept for us. Second version of levels right here, okay, same thing, spin switch. Okay, we're going to run levels into the boundary right here again, so we're going to be on different levels. And all levels is we're high-lowing people. We're high-lowing defenders right here. Over here we've got a little two-man concept to the field. We're basically going to run a smash concept, or what we call a chop concept, which is nothing more than a hitch and a slot fade. He looks at the position of the safety pre-snap right here. They've got us into the boundary. This is one of those FIB formations again, where you've got formation in the boundary, you've got more guys in the boundary, and they've got 3.5 defenders over 3, or 4 defenders over 3 actually right there. So numbers-wise, he doesn't like the boundary right here from his pre-snap look. So now Gage looks back over here. We've got a little 2-on-2 game right here. Okay, the corner's going to screw down on it right here on the release. Once the corner hesitates, he knows he's got the one-on-one ball outside, and that's where he throws the slot fade to Caden Blaylock on the one-on-one ball. Why is this a levels concept? Because we're running the levels concept into the boundary, and then we've got a solo, what we call a 50-50 ball beater over here on the backside. So he's getting a pre-snap look at numbers, and he's going where the numbers aren't. Pretty good job by them in executing. Okay, one more levels concept here. Once again, our true levels concepts are named after cars. The first one was Bronco. This one we call Chevy. Okay, so this would be 61 Chevy right here. Same situation. Okay, we're in a 3-by-1 formation. He's keying the backside safety or the post safety right here. They're giving you a 2-safety look. He knows once this safety starts what we call poaching or rotating to the front side on the 3-receiver side, that he's got a chance for a one-on-one on the backside right here. So as he comes up, this is Jacob Clark again from a couple of years ago, comes up, gets a pre-snap look, ball snap, safety starts working vertically right there. He's not really helping the bracket receiver to the outside. They got Braylon Walker, who played here a couple of years ago, who's playing at Rice University now, running a speed out to the bottom. Jacob takes the speed out. You know, we have a saying on that. If they're giving you the out, you take the out, and you take it until they take it away from you. They have no defender to get underneath that. Once again, there's your one-on-one. This safety is not playing bracket that way. Okay, numbers-wise, you've got 4 over 3 right here, so it's not great numbers there. But if they're 4 over 3 right there, unless they're playing a drop 8 coverage, you have a chance to throw that out route to the other side right there. So good job by Jacob right there. Next example we're going to give you, and we're going to give you a couple plays here, is what we call a spacing concept. We family all of our plays up. So if you learn our offense, certain plays in a family have certain names to them. If it's a levels concept, it's named after a car of some sort. All of our spacing concepts are named after dogs and cats. So right here we have a concept called wolf. We're in 2-by-2 right here, standard spacing concept. We're going to motion the slot receiver over, and what we do, and the reason why we motion a lot of times is they're coverage indicators. Okay, there's no hard bump by the secondary when the motion goes. So right now Gage knows when that motion goes, okay, no hard bump. Okay, I'm probably going to work to the 3-receiver side at this point because that guy didn't rotate back to the middle of the field, and we get a spin right here of any sort right there. So no rotation. He knows he's working to the field to the 3-man side. Boom, flat route comes open, throw it out there. That's Ashton Austin on the reception. Pretty good job by Gage right there of understanding where he's going with the ball after the pre-snap motion, getting it out in the flat to the open guy and letting him run. So that's a spacing concept. And the reason why it's called a spacing concept is if you watch all 3 receivers run their routes right here, they're spaced. Okay, so we're spaced across the board. We're flat, space, space. So we're basically on a horizontal stretch right there of a spacing concept there, trying to stretch them horizontally across the field. Okay, last concept I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to show a couple of screens, is what we call basically a drive concept. We ran this last year against Como. This is a drive concept with a Mills concept on the top. So right here we're working what we call a dig and a post. Okay, the quarterback's going to read that interior safety right there on the dig post side. All right, if that safety flat foots or takes the dig, he knows he's throwing the post over the top right here. The dig route falls down, but the safety flat foots, so the post goes right behind his head. There's the one-on-one. Quarterback climbs the pocket, throws the post over the top. Pretty good job by him of climbing in the pocket, getting the ball out. Set the protection the wrong way right here. Had we set it the other way, we'd have been able to pick up that blitzer in the protection. But he made up for it by doing a really great job of climbing the pocket, stepping up, helping his O-line out right there, making a really accurate throw right there for a big touchdown against Como last year. Very good play by him. Same play last Friday night against Lafayette High. Okay, John Hopkins again, same guy. Okay, right here. Okay, boom, there goes the dig. Hopkins goes over the top. Same deal, the safety flat-footed. You can see him in a trail on that dig route right there. Gets over the top of him, ball, touchdown. So that safety's, the safety that's sitting right there on the hash in this Mills concept is the read key right there. Any hesitation, any buying of this dig route by the number 2 receiver right there, that's where we're going. If he bails out of there, we're going to come off to the dig, and you see this guy right here coming in the picture. He's coming on a shallow cross, or what we call a shallow route. So you got a little high-low created off of this one too. Same thing, kind of a levels type deal. There we go. So it's a big play from Friday night's game right there. The last thing I'm going to show you is a couple of screens. Everybody runs screens, so we're going to show a couple of screens right here. This is 2 years ago against Southside right here. Jacob Clark's our quarterback in this situation, and we're throwing what we call a spur screen. All of our screens are named after basketball teams. So this is X spur, Braylon Walker up to the top. We push a motion as an indicator. So that motion gives us an indicator on what they're doing. There's a little bit of an adjustment to the field right here. He can throw the ball to the motion back right here off of what we call a key 3 screen if he needs to, but if not, comes back, throws the screen to the back side. We get the lineman out in front on the screen. The big boys get to get out there and block. First lineman releasing's kicking the alley. Second lineman's kicking the flat. Second lineman is running up the alley right here to secure. Braylon does a good job of getting back inside his lineman right there. Gets inside, gets back outside, which we call getting in the funnel, and goes and scores. Okay, and those are good plays, and they're easy plays. You don't have to protect them very long. It's really about execution and using your eyes. I think Jacob does a good job of looking at the swinger screen down here to the back with his eyes, and he comes back, throws it back the other way. Okay, last year, similar screen, last one. Okay, this time we run it off of a run fake. So this time we're in 3-by-1. Okay, Gage is there. We're selling a run. You see the guard pull. So why do we do this? Why do we pull our guard on screen? A lot of times backers are reading guard pulls for fits in the run game. So maybe we can get a little bit of false movement out of those guys on that run key. Okay, boom, there we go. The backers fit. Pull it off of it. Throw the screen back outside. Nice completion right there. No backers really getting in the interference because they have to play the run play. They're seeing run in their eyes with that guard pulling and that back coming out there on the run fake. And so the one thing about doing this off of this kind of screen, the quarterback has to be really good at negotiating the backside end or the backside pressure because we're going to cut those guys loose. So if you see right here, we're letting the backside backer and the backside end go. And so Gage does an excellent job of what we call shooting your fadeaway jumper right here. Okay, so he's shooting his fadeaway jumper, getting away from him, getting him the ball. Does a really good job of shooting his fadeaway jumper, and that's what makes that play go. And I'll show you a shot of us doing fadeaway jumper drills in practice. So this is where drill work comes in. We're just fading away right here, working on getting away and throwing off platform to work those things. It's important that we try to take these things into the ball game with us, working off platform right there. This time he's doing it off of a naked fake, got pressure in his hands. Can't always stand there in the pocket and throw the ball cleanly. So that's kind of, drill work tied into throwing that screen a minute ago. So that's some of the things we do this week on offense. Next week, I'm going to come up here and talk about a little bit of our defense and what we're doing on the defensive side of the ball. We've got some good things going on over there, so we'll have a defensive segment next week.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.